Alright, and hello everybody, I'm the Sweeper27, and welcome to another Dokkan battle video. Now, before we really dive into things, I want to say thank you guys for helping this video blow up. If we're looking at this, just within 2.5 days, we're at 1.7 thousand views, over 100 hours of total watch time. I've gotten 4 subscribers. This video is actually what pushed me to hit over 200 subscribers on the YouTube channel, and that is amazing. That is an incredible mile marker for me. There will be a thank you video coming out at some point. I don't know what I'll do, but thank you guys so much for just everything that you've done to help this video blow up. As of the time of recording, this will be my 4th or 5th most viewed video on the channel, and if the trajectory like this stays, this could very easily be the most viewed video on the channel. So again, thank you guys so much. I am incredibly grateful for everything that you guys have done to help this video become what it is. But because of that, I actually want to do a little bit of a community reaction to kind of see like what everyone was saying, because again, we have a lot of comments right here. I think this is actually has the most amount of comments on any video on my channel, 66. Now, like probably half of these are mine because I do try to reply to every single comment that I get. So if you ever want to interact with me, please feel free to comment anything in the comment section below, positive, negative, or indifferent. I just love any sort of interaction, and if you want to interact with me more directly as well, this is going to be just a little subtle plug. I do also have a Twitter. I'm very active in VTubing communities, art communities, obviously the Dragon Ball community, specifically the Dokkan community. I do post a lot of stuff there pretty much every single day, so if you ever want to interact with me, feel free to follow me there. But this video, for the most part, I feel like a lot of people liked what I had to say. They agreed with me. I got 28 likes. I think I have like 5 or 6 dislikes, so for the most part, a lot of people agree on the baseline of everything that I said, and I know that this is a little bit of a longer video, 35 minutes, so not everyone has time just to sit down and whatever, but people who have actually sit down and listened to everything I have to say, again, thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. But I want to just kind of go over a lot of the comments, because a lot of the comments bring up some very valid points. A lot of people have disagreed with me, but we've had civil discussions, which has been really cool. Again, I'm just very excited about this, and yeah, let's go ahead and dive. And I do have a couple things, a couple links that I want to show, just in case I need to sake for my arguments or whatever. So let's just go ahead and start right down here. So let's see. Okay, so this guy agrees with me. Whoops. I agree, because even though they were the best character on their initial release, the content that shifted the game in terms of difficulty, they could still easily get cooked. And with the introduction of Red Zone, it validated 99.9% of the game. This is one of the first times where I've experienced such a visceral change in boss difficulty, and the 7-year LRs were good enough to be completely competent in the hardest fights. Characters like Beast, Year 1 Gogeta, and Kale and Caulifla, if you were to examine the character strength in relation to the rest of the game on their initial release, these characters would be a better fit for the mold and more impactful because the units were able to dominate to an over-leveling degree of the hardest content shown on their respective releases. This essentially perfectly wraps up what I say in the video, and I say absolutely, man. I think the point I made at the end of the video saying that these guys were meant to help you win, but struggle, whereas all the other units that I mentioned in this video were designed to intentionally destroy the game. Like, literally, this is like a perfect summary. If you haven't watched the video and you want to know what it's about, this is pretty much my ultimate argument. So I guess I should say that initially. We could actually pull it up. It's at like the 34-second mark, roughly around here. Let's see. Kind of like to see where people are coming from, because like, yes, I do agree, on release you needed them. There were no other units in the game that even came close to what they were doing. I don't care about how they power crept. I don't care about new events that came on afterwards. I don't care. On release, these guys were needed to do any of these, which is true, 100%. And this is another thing, they struggled against this guy because you couldn't use their active skills. It almost feels like they were designed in such a way that you would be able to beat these events but struggle, whereas these characters were designed specifically so that you did not have to struggle. And I think that is a huge difference. So ultimately, that's why I agree with that. I think that is like a pretty valid way of saying what I had to say throughout this entire video. I'm not like underselling the LRs in any way. Multiple times throughout the video, I was like, yes, these characters were needed for the power change. They were the best units on release, but being one of the strongest units in Dokkan history, I think is a bit of a stretch. Now, and like top 10? Oh yeah, because they did a lot to change the game as well, but I don't think they've had nearly the huge impact as a lot of people like to say they do. So I feel like, yeah, that's a very based comment. I do agree with that. On the most life-changing thing they did was introducing 200%. I agree 100%. But this is also kind of what introduced, or I feel like this was like the catalyst for making fights so much more difficult. The fact that our characters were stronger, the bosses had to be stronger as well. And I feel like everyone on like the Dokkan team might have overestimated how difficult they need to make bosses at the time. I'm someone who's all for difficult content, I really am. It took me a very long time, probably multiple months, before I was able to actually beat Broly the first time with a no item. I don't think I did it until the introduction of Bird Coup. I think that was the very first time I was able to beat it. It was Vegeta and Trunks as my lead. I had Bird Coup and a couple of other characters to kind of be able to move around like that. But yeah, I definitely think that introducing 200%, now they said specifically HP, which is also pretty big. We went from having like 400 to 500k HP to like 700 HP. Which, again, that's a pretty big difference if you're really talking about in terms of everything. That is a huge amount of stat increases. So I do agree that that is probably one of the most life-changing things that they did, and that's what they're most known for. And when they EZA, I'm going to be super interested to kind of see, like, what are they going to do? Are they going to stay as 200% leaders, or are we going to enter, like, a 210% leader meta, 220% leader meta? Which, I mean, I feel like that would push the game a little bit too far too fast, but, I mean, what truly are they going to do? I don't know. I could definitely see them doing something like that, and I, low-key, kind of hoping that they don't. I'm very comfortable with my 200% leads, at least for now, because I feel like that would just be unhealthy. That would just lead to even more power creep and potentially more characters that are not going to be able to keep up with the meta. Which I don't think is good. I think more difficult content is good, but pushing the meta so far that you invalidate so many other units, like this guy said right up here, 99% of the game was invalidated, which was true. That's why you needed these LRs in the first place. So I feel like by pushing this even higher, I feel like that would just be welcoming way more devastation that we are not ready for it, and also something that I don't think is super healthy for the game. This guy brings up a very interesting argument. I think that the original Broly Dokkan Fest was probably the hardest event in the game, but you had continues. And I said, yeah, it was an actual pay-to-win event. So what do I mean by that? So we're going to pull this up right here. So back in the day, this was the meta for beating this Dokkan event. 50 stamina, no stones. We can see plenty of examples, legendary oh, this is rhyme style. This is, I mean, look at that. 7 years ago, but essentially 120,000 views. Like, that's pretty insane. Now, part of that is just because Rhyme Style, he is that guy. I don't know. I doubt you would know who I am and not know who Rhyme Style is. But if you don't, definitely go check out my boy. He's awesome. I love him. He's one of my favorite creators pretty much in the history of forever. But yeah, this was like a whole meta. Right here, we have 10,000 views, essentially. 13,000 views for a free-to-play guide. I feel like that's also huge. Free-to-play, being able to beat all these different events. And there's just, as you scroll, there's just more and more and more examples of people being able to, like, try to do this. Whoa! Yo, the thumbnail goes crazy. Dude, YouTube 8 years ago was a different platform. Holy heck. we got go. Hey, oh, look at that. Look at that. Showing up on the page. Look at that. That's actually kind of cool. Look at that, chat. This is because of you guys, man. Thank you. Thank you. That's really cool. But I feel like that is an extremely valid argument that probably out of every difficult event ever, again, I can't speak for it because I wasn't really playing the game like that back when this dropped, but like the fact that he was so powerful and all the units around him were so weak, being able to beat the event, like you could theoretically beat the event, but it would actually hurt your wallet in a different way than summoning would. Because, like, yeah, during, like, the 7th anniversary, you needed the 7-year LRs, but you can get free-to-play stones by that, you can do this, that, or the other, but if you didn't get them on your summons, you were kind of screwed. You could beat this event, but, like, it would hurt your wallet. Because even if, like, you use all your free-to-play stones to beat the event, well, now you don't have any free-to-play stones to summon. And I feel like that's a very toxic thing. I'm very glad that that's, like, not the case anymore. But instead of being able to have continues, we have daily limits. And daily limits also suck. That's kind of like the new version of this instead of having to use actual currency, in-game currency. Which I think is probably for the best. I would much rather have daily limits as opposed to, alright, gotta pay another Dragon Stone if I want to try this again, which, I mean, that was stupid, but I understand it's a mobile game. That's kind of like the design of it at the time. And again, super, super glad we've moved away from that. Very, very glad. But let's just get rid of daily attempt limits. It's definitely one of the worst mechanics in the game. By far. By far. One of the worst things ever. They were getting packed on the 7th anniversary. Of course not. Now, I did say thank you for understanding my stance, but I think getting packed or getting cooked, I feel like that's a bit of an over-exaggeration. Because even in here, I show a clip of Gogeta taking a fair bit of damage. But even still, I won't here. Because it's not necessarily important what I'm saying. I just want to, like, show the footage. So... Alright, hold on. Come on. Quit yapping. Show the footage. But even still, they did take way more damage than they probably should have. Okay, I'm yapping about Sword of Hope here. Alright, just come on, hurry up. Play the clip. Quit yapping. Oh, brother, I am a yapster. There we go. So, right there. Hold on. Yeah. So this was before they were able to super. Now this is with several stacks up and a lot of links up. But they ate right there 321,000 damage. Which is, I believe, like half of the health bar. Yeah, like over half of the health bar. So you could argue that's good tanking, you could argue that's bad tanking. I would argue that's leaning a little bit more so on the bad side because they are type advantage. This is an event that you would think this would be the event designed for them because, again, they have type advantage. They're not able to dodge or anything, but you got plenty of stacks in the base for them. They're linking up with God Goku, who was one of their better linking partners at the time. That's a lot of damage. Like, I don't know if necessarily getting packed is, like, the best thing to say, because they were one of the best damage dealers. They were by far the best units on release for these events. I mean, actually, this is probably the best unit on release for the specific event, but, like, you could, I don't know. I feel like getting packed is a little bit harsh, but I understand what he's saying. They struggled, I think, is that. That's just, like, a funnier or more, like, common, like, slangy way, I guess, of saying they struggled, as opposed to just outright dominating the game. So right here, I did get a lot of comments like this, where it's like, someone let this man cook and he burnt down the whole fucking kitchen. All right, laughing emoji. So I said, did you actually watch the video or were you just being a silly goose? Silly goose. I explained myself very well. There were many people throughout history who were very articulate and spoke nonsense. Okay? You couldn't do the latest content of the time without them. Even I in the video state that. And when they dropped, they were unequivocally the strongest units in the game. I don't deny that either. Not to mention that the gods and the Super Saiyan 4s were absolute menaces with multiple super attacks by turn 5 or 6. But at the time, you couldn't necessarily always stack with them. There were a lot of times where you were pressured to transform early, because only have 120 to stats at the start of turn. I mean, yeah, you could keep them safe, but at the time, we didn't have good slot 1 options. They, I mean, really, yeah, they really didn't have any good slot 1 options outside of the movie Red Zone with, again, that sub-EZA God Goku. So they struggled a lot of times. They were forced into situations where they would have to go into slot 1. And I feel like that's where a lot of the time they would get caught. You would forcibly transform them early and lose out on stacks, and potentially because they didn't get enough stacks, they wouldn't be tanking enough deep into a fight, or you would try to greed out stacks and any other unit on your team would get caught. It was just a weird composition at the time. When you confused into Gogeta, there wasn't a single fight that you couldn't nuke into Stardust. I mean, I don't know. There are, even though in the video I only show 3 examples, there are a lot of examples of these characters being able to eat a lot of damage at the time. But that's just because the meta at the time, again, Transform, they have 177% attack and defense at the start of turn, with no other defensive mechanics outside of dodge if you're the blue boys, or damage reduction per Rainbow Key Sphere if you are the LR Super Saiyan Force. I'm not saying it when people like yourself try to explain this. Well, I played very heavily at the time, so I feel like I was literally in the trenches. So I do feel like, at the time I wasn't making content, but like I was definitely, this is when I like really started, well, I mean, to be fair, I started playing the game seriously during the 6th anniversary on my current account, I guess I should say. I guess it's because my team was rainbowed from day 1. I got them nearly, I got to use them for nearly 7 or 8 months before they fell off. And even then, if I really wanted to, I could bring them on the hardest event and the content in the game. Y'all are being silly. I don't think that's even an argument either. I mean, I said that in the video, they still did really well against, like, the Metal Cooler Core, which is a very valid argument. It's just, I don't think the impact that they had on launch was as, like, I guess, impactful as people think it is, because when you compare it to other events, other characters who drop who do way more outside of just be essential. Like, yeah, being essential is crazy. I will say that. That's why I think they are one of the top 10 strongest releases in the game. But just because you had them didn't inherently mean that you were winning. And I think it's cool that you were able to get them rainbowed, but not every single person was able to get them rainbowed. And as I say here, okay, clearly you didn't watch the video, or at least hear on my argument. I state multiple times that they were needed for difficult content, but in no way did they destroy any event. Every player struggled to beat Broly, 17, Omega, etc. Janemba should have been another one that I mentioned here. Janemba and Bojack. I feel like Bojack was actually one of the more difficult ones, because I forget what he did. He had the starting phase, and then he locked and sealed, I think, is what he did. Once he was in his full power form, I think that's what he did. I might be getting confused with a couple other ones, but I'm pretty sure that's what he did. Even with the Super Saiyan 4s and the gods, even whales like Truth struggled. Other characters mentioned in the video were designed specifically to remove the struggle from the game. I also say that this is an argument of semantics about what players value most out of a character. And then Silly Goose status has been confirmed. Because a lot of people did kind of like complain before they watched the video, which is like valid. Again, I understand. It is a 35-minute long video. People got busy lives. Not everyone is going to watch that. But if you're going to disagree, brother, at least hear me out. You know what I'm saying? But like, I understand. Again, I do understand what he is saying. But at the end of the day, I just have to disagree. Yes, they were needed. I have said that multiple times. But just because you had them, that didn't even necessarily mean that you were beating the event. Just because units around them weren't inherently as powerful. So they needed to carry the team way more than they otherwise would have. And in a lot of situations, they just were not able to be the carry that a lot of people, I feel like, think they would be. Before I'm watching this, I'm going to say that they are not in the top 5 to 7 category, because when you pulled them at 55%, they were getting cooked in the hardest fight unless you popped an item. True. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with popping an item either, especially if you have a unit 55%. I think that's fine. Items are in the game for a reason. I say this all the time. Not everyone has to be the true DT. Play the game the way that you want to play the game. Get your dub, get your rewards, and then you can always jump back in later. You know, get the win, and then afterwards feel free to try to do it with different teams. Try to do it no item. Try doing it with a different setup. It doesn't matter. I mean, the game is ultimately RNG, especially if you don't have them at rainbow status. And I appreciate this. He says, before I'm watching, I'm going to say this. Hopefully once he's done watching, he'll say something and it'll be like, yeah, man, you cooked. And I said that basically summarizes the entire video. Because it's true. It's true. Again, I am one of these people who pull them both at 55%. The LR Super Saiyan 4s were actually one of my worst shafts ever. I went over 4,000 stones to get just a single copy. My wallet was certainly crying after that, but I did end up getting both at 55%. I used them to beat all the content in the game. But they did struggle. Again, like, Super 17 was a really hard fight because that was the two-phase fight. It took a little while to be able to beat both of them. And then you didn't have access to their incredibly powerful active skills, which is one of the most important pieces of that character. And then Broly, you have the dodge nullifying when one of the characters' whole defensive mechanic is built upon dodge. And then, like, the Omega event just outright... Omega is the one who locked and sealed. That's what it was. Because in Stage 1, when you're facing the Shadow Dragons, he had a chance to lock and a chance to seal. So what are you doing if you get sealed in slot 1? You're not getting any stacks with these characters. Or if they get locked into slot 1, like, what are the gods going to do on turn 3 if you're not able to kill them and it gets locked? Stuff like that can happen a lot, but that was just difficult content at the time. The units that we had just weren't necessarily strong enough. Again, you could beat them, but you struggled with them. I think you're right, but I can guarantee you... This is another take a lot of people made, and I agree. I hope and pray on everything that when these guys EZA, they are number 1 and 2 in the game. 100%. I want them to be better than the mainline heading units. I want them to outright destroy any sort of difficult content. That's what I want, because these are some of my favorite units ever. I've gone on the record saying multiple times that the LR Super Saiyan 4s are my favorite unit in Dokkan. I love their animations. I love their OSTs. I'm a huge GT stan. And I think maybe a lot of people also made this claim because the title of the video is why they will never be one of the strongest units in Dokkan. I can understand that it potentially could be a little bit misleading. That wasn't my intention, but like in retrospect, you know, like kind of delving in, you know, self-reflection, I can see why that is the case. Because a lot of people are like, well, they will never be. Well, in like 6 months, yeah, they will be, because EZAs have been absolutely banging recently, especially like the main headlighting ones like MUI, SSBE. Like, they are top 5 units in the game just because of how incredibly powerful they were, and especially since they've been around since year 6. You know, these units are 3 years old. Everyone is guaranteed... Well, I wouldn't say everyone is guaranteed. Most players, like I would say at least 80 to 90% of the player base is going to have them at least 55%, and if not, you're able to buy them with your red coins. These units, once you EZA them at 55%, they're probably still some of the best units in the game, just because of how incredibly stupid they made their EZA kits. And once we get the 4s and the gods, they already have like really solid kits because they're doing everything. They can get guaranteed crit, they're launching additionals, they are stacking, they have guard for that one turn, they have attack breaks, which is one of the most broken things in the game. So broken, in fact, that not a lot of characters have them unrestricted. You just hit a unit with the 18 key, you had an attack break. I don't think any other character has that except for this upcoming Jiren EZA. I think he will be the first character since the 7-year LRs who just have an attack break anytime you get hit with a super. We've gotten characters that, like, on their active skill, you can nullify an attack in slot 1, which is not nearly as impactful in my opinion. Because, like, yeah, it's cool that you get an attack break in slot 1, but a lot of the times you want it to protect the character, because your slot 1 unit should hopefully be able to eat whatever attack is in that slot, especially if, like, the super is in slot 3. Yeah, you can attack break in slot 1, but you're not going to do anything against it when you're in a different slot. I hope that makes sense. I don't know if I worded that correctly. I said, oh, 100%, because I do agree, 100%. I want the LR Super Saiyan 4s to be the best unit in the game. This is a fun one. I like this one. I would say they were the most fun releases during the first year. And nothing felt as rewarding as they did when you, for sure. Beast is broken, but he doesn't feel nearly as enjoyable from the, yeah. I can understand that. I can understand that. It's 100%. Like, that was probably one of the best times to kind of be in the community, was when these guys dropped, just because they were so hype. They are so hype, in fact, that when I get, like, Dokkan ads on YouTube or whatever, the footage they show is of the gods and the Super Saiyan 4s transforming with their active skills or doing their 18 keys or whatever, which I think is really funny, that those units who are 2 years old at this point are being one of the main selling factors, trying to get people to join the game now. Not current headlining units. I mean, it could just be old ads that YouTube is showing for whatever reason, but I see that all the time. Whenever I'm opening up a YouTube video, it's just a fun little thing. Because, like, yeah, they were these guys. Their kits really were fun, because stacking is fun. Transforming is fun. It's fun. They are fun. And I think that's probably another reason why people remember these units much more fondly than they maybe should. Because I feel like a lot of people were complaining about how powerful Broly is. But yeah, Broly was stupid. Broly was like really toxic and annoying on release. But one of the reasons he was so toxic on release is because we didn't have units that were nearly strong enough to beat him. If the LR Super Saiyan 4s and the gods were as powerful as Beast Gohan, now I'm obviously saying like not Beast Gohan's kit, but I'm saying if they were as equivocally powerful as Beast is right now, back then, Broly probably would not be seen as a toxic fight because we would have a way around it. We would have two amazing options with the best leader skills in the game, being the two best units in the game, with passives that would outright just dog water Broly, dog water 17, dog water Omega, Janemba, Super Baby, because that was a pretty hard one with his AoEs. I feel like this wouldn't even be a discussion. And I thought I can definitely agree with that. Using these fellows 2 years back was so much fun. Now, this is an argument that I have not seen until today, but thinking about it, why don't people talk about this more? If anything, the third-year LRs were much better than the 7th because the third year's LRs had no content that could challenge them once they were transformed. The 7 years could still get cooked after transforming. Granted, it was much easier for them to transform. I said I can actually agree with the Vegito. Bro destroyed all the content around him. I've never actually used physical Gogeta, so I cannot speak on his behalf. But I wanted to pull this clip up right here. This is like a very... well, you can see the thing right there. I wanted to pull up this clip right here of Truth. So this is him in the Legendary Goku event. This is him in the final, or the second to last stage. This is the S tier MUI. And just kind of look at this guy destroy.
So it's another reason those
so this is him on his super attack right here.
And then obviously Vegito, you know, this LR Vegito has his own super attack buff plus the 2 from AGL Vegito.
Pretty decent little damage right there. And then his counters are boom.
Oh my.
His counters are doing more damage than his actual super attack.
2 million on a counter. Oh, whoa. Okay. If LR Vegito is doing 2 million on a counter, then yeah, at that point, I would consider that better than Kill Khalifa. That's a very rare situation to get, but oh my.
A very rare condition to get, but dude, even Truth himself said it, that he would think that they're better than Kale and Khalifa. Again, why isn't this an argument that I've heard more? Like, I would actually agree with this. Again, I didn't really play the game like that back then. I don't even think I had an account at the time. But, like, yeah, they really were crazy. Now, again, I can't really speak for Gogeta. To this day, I don't have Gogeta in my box, so I don't know. And he seems to be significantly weaker, because I'm pretty sure all he gets when he transforms is super effective against all types, whereas the Gogeta had, or, excuse me, the Vegito had damage reduction and then those massive counters. So you would just forload him with crit. You would also full heal on their Great Edition. Now, you couldn't guarantee their transformation. You had to drop below 50% HP for them to fuse, which could be annoying, especially back then, since their base form should have been pretty competent with all the other difficult content around them. But if you were able to transform with them, utter absolute goats. I would feel like maybe, again, this is just me spitballing, because again, I don't know. I didn't play back then. But I would say Kale and Khalifa were probably more consistent, because in the Legendary Goku event, they were stacking the entire time, meaning that they had it was very easy, essentially, for them to get their 66% chance to dodge, and by the time you got to the dodge nullifying part of the fight, their defense would be so high they would be able to double-digit tank the supers anyway. Whereas the third years, I mean, their base forms are good, but I wouldn't say they're even touching what Kale and Khalifa is doing. But if you're able to transform and go into Vegito, then yeah, by far they're way better. So I actually like that. It's consistency versus ceiling, which is a conversation that the Dokkan community has a lot. A lot of the times people will be like, well, this character is better if this happens, but that doesn't happen a whole lot. That's kind of like the AGL VB conversation, although I am, Chad, I do want to say I am kind of becoming an AGL VB defender. I think I've seen enough that I think he can cook a lot more than people are giving him credit for. I'm not going to say that he's like a top 10 unit or anything, but I do think I am becoming a defender of him. But again, I do agree with this. I want to see more people's opinion on this, or maybe I need to go back and watch some more older videos, just that way I can know for certain. But I don't know. I feel like that's a very based opinion. This is again just talking about their EZA, give them permaguard, some damage reduction, and then when they EZA, they will be unstoppable. Again, hardcore agree. Yeah, right here. I want my goats to be the best units in the game. Oh, and this is actually, I mean, this is off topic, but this was a very interesting point. I'm just waiting to see if when Beast Gohan gets power crept. And this is my opinion on him. I think Beast will age kind of like Orange Piccolo, being meta relevant for the next couple of years. He simply does too much to be power crept, which I think is true. He does too much damage. He does too much support. He has a team protection ability. He has damage reduction. He has guard. He has all these different things. He's on a lot of really good teams. He has really good links. I think it is going to actually be very difficult to power creep him. And if he does get power crept, like right here, unless we get a huge meta shift, which would be terrible for the game, I don't think he's going to fall off in a very, very, very long time. Like, I can see him, like, getting knocked off a top 10 list, and then a new fight would drop in the game, and then boom, he's top 10 again. Kind of like what Orange Piccolo has done for the past couple of years. When he falls off, I still think he's going to be, like, top 10. As long as Dokkan doesn't become as bad as Legends, we're chilling with the colorful balls. I don't know what this means. I don't play Legends, but I have heard that Legends, like, every time there's a new summonable character, if you don't have that summonable character, you're kind of losing. That's kind of like how I understand it, because it's like a PvP game. You're playing against other real humans, so unless you have like the new... Oh, actually, they commented right here. What do you know? Legends is mostly pay to win, unless you get extremely lucky and you don't need to spend a lot on the game, or you're a pro player, but either way, your units might do some damage, do some things while the enemy unit... Okay. What, they get 2-tap you? See, this is why I don't play Legends. This is why I don't play Legends. My wallet already hurts enough. But good to know. Good to know. I'll reply to them after the. Again, I try to reply to everything. I don't want to do it like right now. That way I can think about my reply a little bit more or whatever, and not have to take up any of y'all's time, because I imagine this recording is already going to be going long. Yeah, the recording time is going for about 27 minutes, but I had a couple of failed intros, so I don't know how long I've already been rambling for. But we're already close to half an hour, so. I'll try to speed things up here just a little bit. I'll consider them one of the best units in history just because they were still really good, especially the LR Gods. And then, again, I can say this. I can see them being one of the best units in Dokkan history, just not one of the top tiers of power, if that makes sense. Does make sense. They never feel as OP as Beast did, and I just said based opinion, because that is based. Dude, this one kind of made me chuckle. That thumbnail is unfathomably incorrect, with Beast above SCR Gogeta, in the way that he impacted the game on release. Now this is... Dude, I was so fucking proud when I made this. I made this, like, right after I recorded the video. I don't remember what time I was recording this, but, like, it was early in the morning. I made this probably, like, 3:30, 4:30 a.m. And this picture of Amatsu brings me a lot of joy, just in general. And I thought the idea of having this tier, because I feel like most people... I kind of based it on what I saw the most common arguments, I guess I should say. So a lot of people say that these two are the most common that are in conversations. And then Kale and Khalifa is up there, and then these units not being on the pedestal because they're the main talking point of the video is why I designed it this way. But I do understand, if you kind of click on the video, if you're not like reading the title, and you're just seeing this, and you think it's like an overall rating skill, I can kind of see that. And there are multiple points throughout the video, I believe. I'm not entirely sure. Like, I might have said it, like, in, like, a passing statement or something, but I do personally think that Beast is the best, and I have a couple of reasons why, and I think I actually posted in one of the comments. But the main point of the video was not about SCR Gogeta, but I did get a lot of comments about SCR Gogeta. This guy was fun, though. I appreciated his comment. I said, bro, do you watch the video? Or because a lot of the people, I couldn't tell. Some of the comments, I didn't know if they were just, like, seeing the thumbnail, seeing the name of the video or whatever, and reacting. I didn't necessarily know. So, he goes, I did, and I still think what you said is wrong. Now, again, that's fine. Feel free to disagree with me. I don't want this to be one of these videos where you guys think I'm, like, dogging on these people. I say it all the time. I get positive, negative, or indifferent. I love just any sort of interaction. I like talking with you guys. And I like being able to, like, see different sides of conversations or whatever. Gogeta did infinitely more for teams back then than Beast does for teams now. You can still clear every piece of difficult content today without Beast, but there's no way you would be clearing the event without Stones and no Gogeta. Gogeta brought the all-type lead with key and attack support, and he was the strongest defensive unit. Base stats were enough. Most importantly, what he did was his damage output. He could destroy the hardest fights and was unaffected by their attacks. All the units who released that year leading up to him were worthless compared to him, so much so that people could make new accounts if they didn't pull him, because they were valueless without him. I did not know that. Is this where re-rolling came from? Because I don't exactly know what re-rolling is. I just assume it's deleting your account and making a new one. But that's a valid... I guess that is a valid point. Because they were valueless in the team without him. While Beast is game-breaking, his current impact on the game wasn't as great as Gogeta's impact on release. You admitted that you barely used him, which is true. Again, I didn't use this guy on release. Because I didn't really play the game like that. I kind of just did the story mode. And then eventually I ended up deleting that account. But so everything this guy said is true. Like, I like the way that he worded it. He worded himself very, like, potently, and he was able to describe himself, like, his statement very well. And he didn't, like, really, like, dog water me or anything. I mean, yeah, again, he said, I still think you're wrong, which is fine. And again, he went into pretty great detail. And I kind of missed this part. But, like, I mean, I read the part about the worthless units, but I didn't really catch on to this point. So much so that people would make a new account if they did not pull him. I did not know that. But I can definitely understand why, being an all-type lead and being as powerful as he was. That's a little nice thing to know. And then I go, true, but if Gogeta gapped the game with a bunch of worthless units and Beast gaps the game with a lot of extremely powerful units, I think Beast would be able to take the crown as the strongest ever. I mean, feel free to disagree, because what you're saying is true, but to say unfathomably incorrect, it's kind of crazy, not gonna lie. I'm referring to this is what I saw, this made me laugh. And then he goes, I see what you mean. Again, that was just a nice interaction. Dude, me and this guy are homies. That's like the handshake meme, because I guess we disagree, but we respect each other's opinions. Beast stayed the absolute GOAT for 2 weeks. That Evo Vegeta... Evo Vegeta is, after his arrival, probably even better than Beast. Super Gogeta had no one even close to him. He invalidated every leader skill. I mean, that's true. And future ones to come, SDR Gogeta and Beast is no discussion. Bro, so many people. There were a lot of comments about this. Which is fine, again, I just thought it was funny because the whole point was the LR gods. I think Beast is still way more dominant than any other unit in the game. Personally, I disagree with the SSBE argument, but I do respect it because it is true. I think because his revive isn't necessarily the most consistent. I think if you're playing to die, unless you're playing, I don't know, because I'm a character who I'm someone who likes to play to die. If I'm playing like 23rd World Tournament Goku, I do like purposely die on purpose so that 23rd World Tournament Goku will be in its God mode. So that is pretty much a valid way to play. I feel like, though, with these characters, you want to save the revive, but with how difficult content is, you can actually still save the revive and be able to transform. So I understand what he's saying. He's saying, like, the peak of this character can rival what Beast does. Which, like, I do understand that, but I think just having Beast be a little bit more consistent all the time is a little bit more valuable than SSBE being able to be, like, potentially way more offensive and defensively potent in, like, slot 2 or 3. And he does have a team protection ability, maybe a better team protection ability. Because what is his, this is actually why I have these pulled up. What is his revive condition? SSBE, yes. Easy A, transform into English. What is your, where's your revive condition? If you're attacked 5 or more times during the battle, from your next attacking turn, any character who gets KO'd, you revive with 77% HP. Okay, so he has to get hit. Oh, he has the and Super Saiyan 4 power. Okay, so you get hit 5 times. You can revive, and there's not an HP condition on it, so he just gets hit 5 times in battle from your next. Okay, so it has to be the next time he's on a rotation. So you get hit 5 times, you go 1 rotation, and then the next rotation that he's on. Okay. So that's not the hardest thing in the world to get. But getting hit 5 times is not always consistent, especially since he is an int unit, so he has... Oh, man, that means I have to change my Evo. I'm pretty sure my Evo is... I think he's full dodge. Oh, no. So I definitely have to change that. But depending on enemy RNG, it's not always consistent to get hit 5 times. I mean, we've seen time and time again people putting the legendary Super Saiyan 4 Goku into slot 1. He dodges 1 attack, he only gets hit 4 times. You're not able to transform to Oob and you can get cooked. Now, this is a unit who you have a little bit more flexibility with. On his first turn, he can go into slot 1, and then after that, you kind of have to keep him in slot 2 or 3 until he revives. Because when he revives, he does get very powerful. So this is what that guy is referring to. He gets an extra 7 key, 77 to stats, and he gets guaranteed guard. Yeah. So he gets guaranteed guard for the rest of the battle, and he gets an extra 77 to stats. I mean, that is pretty good. Does that make him comparable with what Beast is doing? He will actually have slightly higher starter turn stats. Beast is 250. This would put him at 277 with guard, which they would both have, and then he has 50% damage reduction, where Beast has 60 for his first 5 turns, I think. I might be wrong with that. I'm pretty confident that that's at least close to what they're doing. So I do understand the argument. I do get it. I do get it. Let's see. Did I already read this? I did. All right, no, I didn't. The point of the video is this. I think Beast is way more dominant than any unit in the game. I disagree with the SSBE argument, but I do respect it. When there are plenty of other powerful options, I think he should be classified as number 1. So yeah, ultimately, I guess ultimately my point is Beast is number 1 definitively when there was a bunch of Titans, where a lot of people are saying, well, SGR Gogeta is better because he was a god among men. I feel like both arguments are valid. I could go either way. I mean, personally, I think this. But I don't really think if you think SDR Gogeta on release was more dominant. I mean, again, it's a pretty valid opinion. I understand it. I actually only make that claim in the thumbnail. I don't think I ever specifically mentioned that he was more dominant in the vid. I might be wrong, though. Yeah, I don't actually know if I said it. I probably did say it, like, in passing. Because I do believe at some point in the video, when I'm like, because I, like, like 10 minutes of this runtime is me gassing up Beast. I've never even used the character and I'm gassing him up. But yeah. So I do probably end up saying that at some point in passing, which I don't necessarily think, again, I don't necessarily think that this is, like, a bad take. I don't. Ooh, this is a good one. Beast without his intro up and on his taunt turn can die pre-Super to Frieza and Goku when they have their attack buff. He's referring to when they're below 50% HP, and there's plenty of evidence to support that. This is the only fight that can kill him that way, but after Super he's fine. Issue that Goku and Frieza is will always super before Beast can even attack. Not saying that Beast is not the best, but it's certainly important to think about. At the time of me recording this, I did not know that the Frieza event really had it like that. This guy's saying, that's because that's how the devs intended the fight to be. They want you to strategize. If you get below 50% HP, their SA hit for 5.7 million, and it's the strongest hitting SA before that was 2.7. So it's clear that they intended nobody to live the Super. Beast Gohan can survive it with its intro up. That's just how crazy Beast Gohan is. So I go, at the time of recording, this is replying to this comment. At the time of recording, I hadn't seen a lot of footage of Beast getting cooked. I now have seen some cookage on the Twitter timeline, but that doesn't necessarily change my opinion for who was the strongest on release. But I do see where you're saying Beast can get caught in longer fights, which is true. Like, Beast, this doesn't necessarily invalidate anything, because any unit can get caught. Like, there's footage of him getting caught against, like, Sword of Hope. That's a pretty magnificent spectacle. I don't know what the fucking event is called anymore, because it changed between JP and the global sides of the game. And then right here, I'm replying to this guy's comment, which was replying to this one. I said, true, but I believe what he was mentioning was just to let me know specifically that Beast can, in fact, be caught. I believe at some point in the video, I mentioned Beast couldn't get caught, and I didn't know how powerful this fight was. I might be wrong, but I think that's what this was referring to, because he replied again. Because, no, you're missing what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Beast easily dies or gets cooked. I'm saying that he could die depending on RNG. If its intro is still up, you should live. Yeah, that is definitely true. I'm just including scenarios where you could be missing that or missing that build-up from his damage reduction. Either way, I get what you're saying, but I also had his intro up and he still may die. Maybe this was because he didn't get all of his hits in. And then, I misread this comment. So I thought he was saying Beast sucked. I misread it. I apologize here. But what I thought he was saying was Beast is not the best unit. Because if you use him on a team without LRs and you float him, he sucks. I'm dyslexic. Every now and then I read things wrong. So I go, you just said if you use the unit incorrectly, he's bad. What is your point here? And he goes, no, what I said, without top 10 LRs, normal team, the other guy was talking about him not getting enough hits. And I apologize. I went, shit, you're my fault. I misread it. Because I literally thought he was saying, oh yeah, Beast sucks if you don't let him get his hits and if you run him on a bad team. I thought that's what that was. Oh, this is actually another good. This is a long conversation thread. But I really like what a lot of had to be say here. So he starts off a little trolling, which is fine. Did you ever watch the video? I explained myself pretty well. Again, he kind of trolling. Why would I be confidently with someone who's wrong for 35 minutes at the score 27? Damn! Damn! I mean, again, it is a 35-minute long video, so I do understand why some people wouldn't want to sit through this whole thing. But, I mean, bro, you can put this on, like, time to speed. You can put this on the background while you're doing work, homework, whatever you want. Because nothing, like, necessarily visually is happening. I mean, obviously, I do, like, have a tendency to highlight things whenever I'm trying to make a point, but that doesn't inherently mean anything, really, because I'm still saying whatever I'm highlighting. So, I mean, this would probably be another good video to just have on the background. Jesus, I just looked at my recording time. We're hitting 40 minutes. Bro, this is going to be another long one. Hope y'all got your popcorn and you're strapped in. And then my goat, my absolute goat, SEPBS came in. and said, can't even hear bro out and his reasons. Why did you read the title and make your comment or something like that? At least listen to him if you're not going to agree. And he goes, of course I watched the video, but some of his points were valid, and there were some that I just can't agree with, which is that's based. And he even admits, I was trolling my OG comment, should have stopped earlier. I appreciate that. Again, that's good. I appreciate it. And then this guy jumps in because the reason would disprove what he thought earlier about these two units. It is easier just to react to a title instead of engaging, I guess. Did you read the prior comment? Because he did go back and he's like, yes, I watched it, which is cool. And I also appreciate this. He said some of what I said is valid, and there's some things that you can't disagree with. That's fine. And this one right here, I don't necessarily know about this. It would disprove his thoughts. I mean, I feel like every argument I made throughout the video, I support everything I say, but ultimately, Dokkan is a game about RNG. There are a lot of things that are subjective. There are people who really like dodge. There are people who really like damage. I made a whole video about that went up as of today, the 22nd. On that whole discussion is damage underrated? Because I would say that for the most part, I may be wrong. This may just be because I'm very avid Detrue DT follower, and I see a lot of people who engage with him a lot. But dodge is my preferred mechanic, but it's for a much different reason. I have a weaker box. Most of my characters aren't at rainbow status, so I'd like to give them a chance to live as opposed to try to kill the enemy faster than they can kill me. Because the reason for that is when you're at 100%, you get more stats in your hidden potential system, as well as, you get these extra nodes and whatever. So my thought process is I'm missing out on stats. So some of these characters who could maybe live at rainbow status or who could maybe kill at rainbow status, they're not going to do that at 55%, 69%, stuff like that. So I give them dodge so they have that little bit of that extra cushion where they're going to be able to potentially live something that they wouldn't from missing out on the stats. But I have plenty of characters who I give them full offensive builds. A lot of the Boo characters I gave offensive builds to, like Tech Exchange Boo, I think he is full additional. Then secondary crit, I don't think I have any dodge in his passive. And then Gohan I think is actually full crit. And then secondary additional, I think. Those are the two off the top of my head that I can think of that have offensive build, but plenty of characters like that. Because again, this is also another statement. When in doubt, go dodge, but dodge isn't one size fits all. Same with additional, same with crit. Read the character passive and do whatever works best for the team that you have. You know what I'm saying? Because if you have like a Majin Power team that has a bunch of really good defensive units, but you don't have a lot of offense, boom. Give some of your more like passively defensive characters, give them some crit. That way, they're already dodging, they're already surviving. Let them do more damage so your weaker characters can dodge and defend. Again, dodge isn't a one-size-fits-all, but again, when in doubt, go dodge. That's my opinion. But I could definitely see, like, some of the takes I say could change my mind. I mean, a lot of what people have been saying in this video certainly changed my mind. I feel like if I were to, like, maybe redo this video, I would talk about Int Vegito. I think that is truly, like, an extremely valid argument. Just with, again, how explosive he is once he transforms. Again, I don't know about the base form. That's not, like, a meta I played in. I don't know, for example, but, I mean, bro, truth is saying it, I mean, I gotta kind of consider it. But I understand why this guy is saying that, because his first comments were trolly. He's probably just assuming he's a troll. And I appreciate bro coming to defend me, bro. I appreciate that. I hope you enjoyed the video, my guy. Right here, I even hopped in and said my go. And then I would still love to hear your actual argument as to why you disagree, because he said he was trolling, and then I was kind of hoping I could maybe get some more information. There's no need for hate or anything, just why don't you agree on, especially if you said I made valid points. And then he jumps in right here and he goes, I just feel like the power creep at the 7th anniversary unit is second to the 9th anniversary power creep. I would tend to agree with that. The introduction of Red Zone made them essential for most teams. And then again, this is the point that I've made several times. I agree with that they were needed for Red Zone, but they never destroyed any Red Zone, if that makes sense. And then on release, they were #1 in the game, but they struggled against these fights that I mentioned here. Ultimately, I feel like this is just an argument of semantics and truly doesn't matter a whole bunch, because it doesn't. If you think they're a top release, more power to you. I just gotta disagree. And then again, bro, handshaking me, bro. My guy! He goes, I respect that. I just hope whoever's making these fire EZAs makes theirs fire as well. And bro, I agree. I want my ghost to be #1. What a fucking awesome interaction. Again, this was a good one. This was a good one. I appreciate that. It's immediately followed by this. VTuber equals opinion rejected. Bro, you're a Kappa PNG. Again, dude, some of these were funny. Some of these were funny. And then we have these two right here. Couple, little bro. They'll get the game in 5 months. Wow, cool point, bro. Almost like I made this about their initial release, which is true. Again, I can understand why a lot of people mention this, because, again, in the title, it does say why they will never be one of the strongest units. The reason it doesn't say on release is because when you're making a YouTube video, you can only put 100 characters, and that includes like spaces and stuff. So I struggled a lot on what I wanted to word this. So I feel like the title I settled on was probably the best. Because I include Dokkan Battle at the end of all of my videos. That way you're able to kind of like search through the playlist. Because I used to post VOD content from my Twitch a lot over here on the channel. I don't really do that anymore. I haven't done that for months, but I used to. So the idea behind doing Dokkan Battle at the end of every Dokkan Battle video was so that if you looked up Sweet Bro Dokkan Battle, everything would show up a little bit more easily, and it just kind of helps as well. Just in case I forget to add something to the Dokkan playlist, I can like do like Control F on my page, see how many actual videos I have that include Dokkan Battle, and if there's like because right now I think I have like 362, this will be 363. If I do Dokkan Battle and the playlist has 363, but my YouTube page says I have 370, I know I've missed a few, and I can go back in, I can kind of add them to the playlist later. They might be out of order, but I would much rather have them there than not have them there, if that makes sense. So I feel like this is definitely essential. So I only had these characters to work with, and I feel like ultimately the title I settled on makes sense. I mean, why they weren't... like, what else would you call a video like this? Because I'm not trying to clickbait. Obviously, I want like a good title, and I feel like I made a banger thumbnail, so I definitely got the engagement. Again, shout out to you guys. I cannot express how incredibly thankful I am. 1.7, yeah, 1.7, 28 likes. Again, I got a couple of dislikes, but I don't even care. But yeah, 1.7 likes. A bunch of comments. So, I mean, enough comments that I'm actually able to make a video like this. And I've had fun. Like, I don't think that none of these interactions have, like, really been toxic or anything. It's been fun being able to talk with you guys. Now, I understand that making this video, I even tweeted about it. Hold on, we can pull up the tweet. Yeah, right here. I feel like this just kind of invites people to be like, oh, he loves his comment section. Bro, we're gonna flood him with negativity. I hope that doesn't happen, but if it does... I mean, I'll deal with it, deal with it then. But I also feel like it's just because I'm like a positive guy. Like, I didn't like feed into anything at like any point. Like, if someone was just being like a little jokey, like, where's the Kappa guy? Yeah, I mean, I was just like I was just kind of feeding into what he was saying. I mean, to be fair, that is really funny, especially with what his profile picture is. Just like feeding into, you know, it was just kind of funny. You know, I feel like we're all in on the same joke, and the punchline is me kind of thing. I don't know, this was fun, And then finally, this video will age poorly, 10th anniversary. Gee, I would hope so, considering this is talking about 9th anniversary and before, lol. But yeah, overall, a lot of really good conversations that came out of just this one video, and I'm hoping that this video as well, when it gets posted, people can talk about what some other people have said. Also, I probably should have said this at the start, but like, obviously, like, don't harass anybody if they disagree with me. I don't think anyone in this community really would, like my community specifically. I feel like everyone has worded themselves very nicely. Again, I don't think that there's really been like any like rudeness or like any like true toxicity or like bullying or anything. We're all just having fun. We're just, some people say that they agree with me, some people saying they disagree with me. We have a couple of jokesters in here, but this was fun. And if we ever get another like really good banger video like this, I would love to do a video like this where it's just me kind of like reacting to the community. This is, again, the first time I've ever been able to like truly do this. I could have done it back when this dropped, because this was another video that like really popped off. As you can see here, 56 comments. I don't know. This would maybe be fun to actually do. If you guys enjoyed this video, like if this video does well, I might do it for this older video. Because this also had a lot of fun discussions, because a lot of people have things to say about my my final top 10 list. I made this at the start of this year. Yeah, as you can see here, 5 months ago, going on 6. But a lot of people had some stuff to say about this, both good and bad, which I think is fun. But again, a lot of this game is subjective, and different people value different things. Obviously my box isn't going to look the same as your box, because we could both have the same unit rainbowed, but mine could have more dodge, yours could have more crit, and we're going to have completely different experiences, you know? And even if we had the exact same unit, you go into any fight, no fight is going to be exactly the same. Bosses are going to super in different slots. You're going to get different opening RNG. It's all about consistency and how characters choose to work for you. Again, it's a bunch of 1 and 0s at the end of the day. But yeah, this was fun. let me know what you think about this kind of video. And again, one final time, huge thank you to everyone who watched this video, shared this video, liked this video, commented on this video. Again, this is the reason I got above 200 subscribers, which is awesome. It took me roughly around a year to go from 100 to 200, which is awesome. And if we continue at this rate, hopefully we can hit 300 in a much shorter time span. But yeah, thank you to everyone. Will do just a little bit of a shameless plug here. I do have multiple other social medias that are all linked in the description of every video. I have a Twitter that I post pretty much every day too. I'm very consistent. I reply to every comment, like I do here, where I try to reply to everything. I think obviously I've missed a couple, but I try to reply to, or at least react to, every single comment that I get, both here and over on the Twitter. Again, I'm very active in like several different communities, but the main one that I try to focus on is the VTubing, because I mean, obviously, and Dokkan. It's my biggest passion at the moment. So I post there all the time, and I do also have a Twitch where I go live multiple times a week. I've been a little bit inconsistent with that because life has been a little bit crazy, and I have to focus my energy on other things. I mean, stuff happens. Hopefully next week, I'll be able to kind of dive back into being able to go live 3 to 4 times a week. I normally go live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I stream for anywhere from like 4 to 7 hours. We play a variety of different games. Dragon Ball The Breakers is one of the big ones. We play horror games. I recently just got a heart rate monitor, so once my phone gets fixed, we can hook that up. That way you guys can see how fast my ticker goes. In the middle of horror games, stuff like that. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a lot of fun. I would love to see a lot of you guys there potentially as well. I do also have a TikTok. I don't really use TikTok a whole lot. Anytime I make a YouTube short, I also post it there. But if you want to see them there, if you prefer that to YouTube shorts, definitely check me out there as well. Any level of support is greatly appreciated. But again, I feel like you guys have done awesome, and I hope that we can have another banger video like this. That way we can introduce more people into our little community, and we can have just a lot more fun. But yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. I'm not going to do my normal outro because this really wasn't a normal video. But yeah, let me know what you think. Again, don't harass anyone if you have an opinion different than theirs. This was a very civil discussion. Again, we disagreed, we talked. At the end of the day, anyone who disagreed with me, I feel like, we had that handshake emoji, bro. Fuck yeah. We disagree, but we still respect each other because at the end of the day, we're playing the same game that we all love. You know what I mean? We're just fun, positive, good vibes out there, everyone. But yeah. So yeah, I think that's going to be all for this time, guys. So, as always, I've been the SweetBro27, and I am signing off.